I was injured 15 years ago today. I was learning to figure skate and I pulled my foot out from under myself from a standing position. I fell so quickly that I had no opportunity to recognize I was falling and do any kind of protective reflex motions, and I was instantly knocked out.
I think that, there probably, for eons been people who've had brain injuries, but it was never identified as a brain injury until the modern medical science and research, even in the last 5 years, have been able to see far enough into the details of the brain and the operation of the brain to be even able to say that's a brain injury as opposed to something else.
I was extremely shaky and I knew I was in trouble, but I really didn't know what was wrong. I ended up in the emergency room and they examined me and they decided, oh, it's just a fall, it's just a concussion. They checked and I had no fracture and no bleed, so I would be fine. I just needed to take it easy for a little while. But I wasn't fine.
Since this is a relatively new disability, it's a new group of folks that years ago didn't survive their injury. We have a lot of, there's a lot of us folks that have been working in various parts of the medical and rehabilitative field that never got any training in brain injury rehab. And I can tell you that when I was in graduate school in the mid-70s, I never heard the word brain injury mentioned. I never discussed strategies on rehab or helping a person regain skills that they had lost. That wasn't there.
And I started lining up my own rehab. I knew of a really good occupational therapist, and I got myself to him, and he started to help me with my balance. He helped me with identifying several of the difficulties I was having. After that, I moved on to getting a neuropsych done and had to argue with the lady who was my primary care. She didn't think I needed it. What did I need this for anyway? I was supposed to be fine. I didn't have anything serious wrong with me. So with a great deal of arguing, I finally got to a neuropsych. And it was when the report came back on that my husband finally had to realize something was seriously wrong with me. But still, my primary care provider never followed up, never helped me set anything up for assistance. I found a neuro-optometric rehab specialist in Connecticut, and I got there, and this was like about a year, almost a year after my injury. And through him, I was able to get glasses that had prisms so that I could walk without having to hold on to walls and furniture all the time.
Changing the way that doctors and hospitals screen people when they come in the door and say, I got a problem. And we need to have everybody being asked on a regular basis, have you experienced a brain injury? Have you had a fall and hit your head? Have you been in a car accident and gotten shaken up real badly? And as we can do a better job of screening, we're going to be able to provide more effective treatment.
I have a lot of respect for the medical profession, but I've had to come to understand that in order to get everything into medical school, internship, and residency, there are a lot of things that aren't included. And I've discovered if you're not in neurology, brain injuries aren't very well covered, except as an immediate medical emergency. The long-term care is not part of it.
I think there has to be more in educational areas to teach people about brain injury and to advance. I think we're much better in the hospital area where we bring, because back 20 years ago, most people died from a brain injury, and today most of them, it's all reversed. Everybody's living, and I think one area hasn't caught up with, we haven't caught up with the medical part of it.
So we've got a large challenge right now in bringing our healthcare workers, the folks that provide the direct support throughout our healthcare system, bring them up to speed on the new research that's out there that they can put to use in their day-to-day work with that particular individual.
I think anyone who's had any kind of a bump on the head, whether they've gone unconscious momentarily or for a long period of time, I'd advise them to be advocates for themselves, acknowledge the possibility that they may have long-term impairments that need to be addressed rather than brushed aside, to always bring up their head injury to their primary care at least once a year with their annual physicals, and force the medical community to address brain injury as an ongoing health condition, just as they would anyone who's had a heart attack or has hypertension. It's always addressed on a regular basis. If you've had any kind of a brain injury, it needs to be addressed the same way and taken with the same level of seriousness by both anyone with the injury and anyone providing medical care to that person.